Hey guys, back with another video here on the 2008-2010 F350. Mine is a 6.4 liter. We'll be changing the front struts today, and I'll show you how to do that. For this install, you're going to need a new strut, snips, ear protection, impact wrench, steel wheel for cleaning, penetrating oil. You're going to need big straight screwdriver and or pry bar, bunch of extensions, anti-seize, torque wrenches, and 18s and 19s, and also a universal for getting to those tight, weird areas. You also may need a torch and breaker bars as well, depending on how bad your bolts are actually seized on. My one was pretty bad, so I need both these components. That will be mostly all you need. So I've kind of got going here already, but I'll show you what you have to do on the driver's side. Now, I took my tire off to get easier access. I didn't want to do this, but I had to, and I'll explain that later. So there is a bottom bolt here and a top bolt, and there is a nut behind this. You have to pull your boot down and it will show this. So the way I did the driver's side one is I had a huge extension. Now if you go from above the truck here, you can actually fit the extension down into here, and then it'll line up. This guy is a 19mm, and I didn't have a proper wrench size, so I just used my adjustable. Worked just fine. So adjustable onto there, and then you'll ratchet that off, or you'll impact that off, and then that'll come loose. Now you'll have a grommet here, or a spacer, I guess, as per se, and a one up here as well. And we'll change those out when we get the new strut. Now, this bottom one, I had to take off my front tire. Mine was super seized. I had to heat it up till it was pretty much on fire from the rubber grommets in there, actually catching on fire. And then I had my breaker bar, and also from my jack on here, having to pry it. It took a lot of force. Still working on it here. So you guys may have to take your tire off to get the breaker bars in here. If it's not that tight, or you have a massive impact, air impact, you guys probably won't have to do that, but I unfortunately don't have that. So I've cracked this guy loose here. Now on the Fords, there is a little tab here. This is gonna slide back and forth because this is the nut. So you have to hold this in place if you're impacting it, because it's gonna suck this out, which isn't gonna give this any stop. So now that this is off, pull this out. This is what that piece looks like. So that's what that tab is there. So I don't know if my new strut gives me a new bolt. I hope so, because this one's pretty mangled on the end for me having to impact it and use a big breaker bar. So if not, I might have to go buy another one, but we'll see if mine comes with it. So now I have this off, and this. There's a nut. Washer. Top grommet. So to get this bottom part out here, you can pry, put a pry bar in here, and push, comes right out. Just like so. So I've got both the struts here, the old and the new, obviously. So basically what you get with the new one here is 2 of these washers, 2 grommets. So now if you look on the old one here, there is the washer just above the nut with a grommet, or whatever you want to call it, rubber grommet thing, rubber spacer, nut, and then you'd have the second one on top. So this one to get on here. Now if it doesn't go, you'll need to hammer it on and it'll slide on. This on top, like that. I put the dots to the top. Then you will slide this into the truck. Then you would have the next grommet. Nut. It'll look like that, and then this is what you'll be spacing in the truck. remember you gotta put your boot on too. Now in my Rancho kit, I didn't get a new bolt, a new nut. A little disappointed in Rancho for that. I like them as a company, but I was a little cheesed by that. I unfortunately don't have another vehicle here that I can drive, so that Dodge isn't mine, by the way. So I might have just put this old one back in. I'm not really keen on that, but it's probably what I'm gonna have to do, as I don't really have any other options because I can't get into the parts store to get another one. Just putting the boot on here. So take all the stuff off, don't put that on yet. Slide this over. You're gonna have to pull the actual strut up, and then you're gonna want to zip tie this on. I don't use Rancho zip ties, they're small. I buy bigger ones here that they're gonna hold. And then you'll just zip tie this just over where the lip is. Let's see. You'll see where the strut actually gets fatter there. You want to go just below that, and you'll zip tie it onto there. Boot put underneath this for now. You put this in, you'll have to hold this nut, tighten it up, and then you pull this up over the boot after. I'll show you when we get to that point. So another thing that I'm gonna do here is, mine was so greasy and so rusty, I'm gonna take some sandpaper and or a wheel brush, and I'm gonna clean this up so there's no rust or grime, grease or anything in there, so this won't be so seized for the next guy. So for the bottom here, I took sandpaper, cleaned it out, brake clean as well, and took my wheel brush to it. So I'm trying to clean up as best as I possibly can. And then up here as well, I'm doing the same thing. On top, I'll do a little bit by the sandpaper, but I'll get the rest of this with the wheel brush. And then other than that, we'll be good to go and start putting it all back together here. So if you guys have watched any of my previous videos, you know how big I am on anti-seize. Be the nice guy. Make sure you anti-seize all this stuff, because my God was mine hard to get off. And if yours hasn't been done since it's been built, or like hasn't been done forever, or they cranked it on and didn't use torque specs, anti-seize this. Because if you got to do it next to the next guy, you're making it so much easier for them. Because I can't go to the hardware store and get another bolt, I'm going to just wire brush the rust off this and try and get as clean as I possibly can. Then I'm also going to anti-seize this bolt. So now it's time to install the strut. There's a Rancho part number on here. That guy, I like to keep that out so when the next guy needs to see the part number, as I have a cage leveling kit, it's a different strut than stock. So I keep the part number to the outside of the vehicle, or I guess it'll be to the back of the vehicle in this case. Oh wait, no, it will not be. It will be to the front of it, or it'll be the side of the vehicle like that. So, part number is there. So that'll go in like that. Then that guy will go up in there. So like I said, you need to have the washer, the cup in, dots on top. So slide up, then you'll put your next grommet on, then your washer facing down, and the nuts. Mine took a little bit to get in. You just gotta push down on it good. Remember, Rancho part number out for the next guy. This nut will go back there and you'll slide that bolt on. Okay, now for this, again, washer down, grommet, and you will pull this up. That bolt's gonna come out there, black dots. Washer cup is now down. New nut. Obviously have the flat side down. So bow, flat, make sure the flat side down. Same way to tighten it up. Adjustable wrench, or if you have the proper size. And then you can impact that on from the top and then tighten this guy up. One thing I realized as well, tighten this down till this starts spinning, then put the adjustable wrench in, because your adjustable wrench will actually get stuck in there and you won't be able to pull it out. Torque spec for the bottom and the top are the exact same. It is 76 foot-pounds or 103 Newton meters. After this is on here, you need to pull this boot up. I will do that here with 2 hands. Now on to the next side. Pretty much the same as the other side. So it'll be a 19mm on top and the 18mm on the bottom. So I'm just going to take this off. The way I did it on this side is I have an aftermarket intake, but I went right beside it. Came down, I put a universal on it. I wish I had a deep 19. I don't have a deep 19 in the correct size. So hopefully this little bit of gap here is not going to strip it or ruin it. And then you hold it with this guy, and then should be good to go. We'll get her off. Oh, those fuckers didn't put the... So if you had someone who put a regular nut on, like me, I can't leave my vehicle not running, so I gotta put this back in, and I'm not really happy about doing that. But if you have this problem and you don't have that little, you know, tab down here to hold, what you gotta do is take the biggest straight screwdriver that you have. You'll see that there's a little slot there. You will stick that in there, pry against that nut to hold the nut, and then take the impact and impact it off, and then you should be able to get it. That's what I did, and I got it. Granted, this size wasn't seized at all, so if yours is seized, you may have one hell of a time if you don't have that tab. Again, this is why I'm going to be anti-seizing this side a lot as well, because I don't have that special nut from Ford, and I can't wait to get it in. I got to get this thing back and go together and going. So once again, I'm going to anti-seize this just like the other side. I've already cleaned it up with sandpaper, and I'll be doing that to the same to the top there. Again, slide the bolt in on this guy, put it up here. If you have the nut that doesn't have the tab, you can force this in there and tighten it up. Now I'm just gonna torque this to 76 foot-pounds, tighten this one up and torque it to 76 foot-pounds as well. Tighten those guys up to this torque spec of 76 foot-pounds. Once that's done, you can stick your sticker on there, and then you're all good to go. Thanks guys for watching another guide of mine of the how to change the front shocks on a 2008 F350. If you guys have any questions or comments, leave them below. And please like and subscribe, it means a lot. Thanks.